Welcome back to the Print on Demand cast. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about some more Etsy tips. So let's get into it. All right, welcome back to the Print on Demand cast. As you can tell, I'm solo this week. So Josiah did it a couple weeks ago, and I guess he just wanted to turn the tables on me and make me do it this week. So for those of you who are just joining us, my name's Travis, and Josiah is usually my co-host. He's not here this week, like I just mentioned. But we've got I think I've put together a decent show for you guys, and I hope that you'll agree. The one thing that I'll just tell you right now is he usually pushes all the buttons in the studio and does all the transitions and stuff. So it's probably not going to be quite as, you know, perfect sounding as it is when he's with me, but that's okay. We're still going to get into some print on demand news and some tips for your Etsy account and all that stuff. But of course, I don't feel like I can really um, go any further without one of the reasons that you're actually here for this particular um, print on demand cast. And it is, of course, the weekly dad joke.
Time for the weekly dad joke.
All right. So, as many of you, well, I don't know if I actually said this on the podcast, but my wife was really sick for couple weeks and it was pretty bad. And so um she would as I was practicing for some of my gigs, with my band, I'd be singing different songs or whatever. And for whatever reason, the song Wonderwall was just in my head, and all day, kind of a earworm, if you will. And I was just singing it all day, Wonderwall all day long. And eventually she got so fed up with it, she asked me if I could stop. Well, you know what I said. I said, maybe. And this is where it goes, ba-doom boom, ps, but I can't find the thing. I just can't. It's somewhere over here, but that is your weekly dad joke. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's all I got for that, guys. I'm, this is tough, but I'm doing all I can, for y'all. So let's just jump into the point of interest of this week's show.
Point of interest.
So beautiful, so wonderful. That guy who sings that song he should get a Grammy or something. Um, yeah, maybe not. Okay, so in this week's point of interest, we're just going to talk about something that I just kind of found out about, and I'm still not 100% sure what's going on. But recently, I heard that Amazon was phasing out the use of generic in their as a way to get around GTINs like UPCs and what's the other one there? But UPCs here in the US is what we typically use as a GTIN. A GTIN is a global trade identification number, like a UPC or a EAC, I think is what they use in Europe. Anyway, I was informed that so what you used to be able to do is you could use the word generic if you didn't have a UPC or some type of GTIN. And you could apply for what's called a GTIN exemption using the term generic. And Amazon would let you list products that didn't have GTINs or UPCs, such as print on demand products, on their platform. And again, we're talking about the Seller Central side, not the Merch by Amazon side. Merch by Amazon, you can kind of put your own brand name in there, and people use that as an extra spot for keywords a lot of times. And they don't necessarily continually put all of the same brand names on the Merch by Amazon side. Um, Contrasting that to the Seller Central side, where you are the seller of record and you're actually responsible for getting the product to the person, usually through a print provider or a print vendor, fulfillment center, something like that. You're also responsible for doing any returns, coordinating that with the buyer, any customer service, of course, all of that, because you are the seller of record. So a lot of people would use this generic brand name as a way to get around the GTIN exemption or the GTIN requirement on a new product. So if I'm selling like a pair of Nike shoes, if I, am allowed to on Amazon, I would have to list the UPC because that product has a UPC on it. It has a GTIN, and I have to use that to share with the buyer. This is what you're going to get. It's this size, this color, because all that data is, included in the UPC in one way or another. With print on demand products, obviously, we don't have a UPC. We have to basically, because the product doesn't exist until we actually sell it. So I was mentioning this in a chat that I'm in, and because I'd heard that you can't use generic, it's not working anymore. And these guys were like, well, I listed something last week and used generic. But I do know that this particular person um, applied for the GTI exemption many years ago with using the term generic. So my thought was that perhaps um, this pause on generic is for new sellers. I'm not 100%, but perhaps Amazon could be forcing new sellers into what's called brand registry. And brand registry is something that you can do. It's what I've done, and I know many other print on demand sellers have done. I list all of my products under my brand, and what I've done is I've got a copyright or a trademark on my brand, so I can list products under that. So I presented that certificate, by the trademark. What is it? The trademark people, and I presented that to Amazon and went through the requirements that they ask for and got my GTIN exemption using my brand specifically. Now the thing is that getting a trademark is not cheap. It can cost, anywhere from six, seven, $800 to 1,500 to 2,000, depending on, how many words you're trademarking, how many, how long it takes, how much research the trademark attorneys have to do in order to find out if they think that this will go through and actually become a published trademark. So that can, sometimes make the costs different, but that's not a small amount of money, and so a lot of people who are just starting this, they have no desire to do that, and so that's why they've been able to use generic in the past. And so my question, I guess, to you guys is if you are using generic or if you've never sold on it, on Amazon, the Seller Central side, and you're just starting and you're trying to get a generic, GTIN exemption, I'm curious to hear if you guys would just email us at info@printondemandcast, or go to our contact page on our printondemandcast.com website and just let us know if that's been a problem for you, because I'm really curious to see if Amazon is kind of pushing their agenda once again and forcing new sellers into brand registry. So, again, I have no idea because I have brand registry and I use my brand to list new products. It hasn't affected my business, but I'm curious to see if it's affected yours. So, yeah, so send me an email, send us an email, comment in the Facebook group, printondemandcast.com/Facebook will get you to the Facebook group, and you can join the group, you can post and all that stuff. So let us know, and we'll just go ahead and say that that was the point of interest. And as I look around for the bumper, here it is. It's about time for the main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event.
All right. In the main event of this probably shorter than normal episode because I'm by myself, we're going to be talking about some more Etsy tips, some store tips to grow your sales. Now, last week we had an episode 161. We talked about marketing and how you market your Etsy store. However, I think some of this is it's kind of correlated, and you'll see that as we go along. But I wanted to follow up with some more tips and some further thoughts about last week's episode, and then just some ideas behind growing your sales on Etsy. And the first one is one that we talk about a lot on the Print on Demand cast. And it's one of those things that you may or may not buy into. But the first tip is your mindset. And I'm guilty of not kind of believing in this stuff in the past. I didn't really think that that was so important, and I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. However, in the last, I don't know, last couple years, I've really understood how like my mind and like the things that I focus on really, really do impact not only just what I'm, doing at the time, but my kind of emotional stability while I'm actually doing it. Um, so one of the things that you can, do to have a better mindset is to focus on solutions and not so much on the problems, because problems are going to come. But as you know, you probably are already solving a lot of your problems anyway. But that doesn't necessarily mean that our mind doesn't focus so much on the problems that it distorts reality. Because the reality is when you come up to a problem, you're going to find a solution most of the time. And so if we can shift that from not focusing so much on the problem, but focusing on solutions and trusting our, intuition, our hard work to be able to come up with one, that can shift something in our head that doesn't, just weigh on us. It's no fun to just be down in the dumps because of problems, because of issues. And if you've listened to any of the recent episodes, I've had a lot of problems with our Make Your Mark Design, our print on demand fulfillment company, and I'm shutting it down. Or I'm making it, I basically not fulfilling for as many people. And it would be very easy for me to be incredibly depressed. And to be fair, there have been days where I have been depressed about that particular issue. However, when I focus on the solutions, when I focus on the things that I can do just right now, not, down the road, 60 days, 100 days or whatever, if I can focus on what can I do right now, um, that has a change in my brain to where I'm more positive, I'm more solution focused, I'm more, it's just a better way of, you know, dealing with problems. If you can keep your mind like that. Maintaining a positive attitude is really important because you are going to get negative reviews. You are going to get people that want to return your product. And it doesn't seem fair, because, well, you should have looked at the stupid, um, what is it? Uh, Oh, see, this is what happens when I don't have Josiah to rescue me. Your the size chart, for your T-shirt or whatever. It's like you should have listened or looked at the size chart and figured this out before you bought it, and now you have to return it, and I have to eat the cost, and you can focus on that stuff. But if you focus more on the solutions, maybe you didn't have a size chart, and now you can add one, and you've learned from that problem, and you can focus on those things to continue to give you that positive attitude. Let your long-term goals be your focus, not your short-term setbacks. Okay, I'm going to be a successful print-on-demand seller. I'm going to sell X number of dollars, this year, and I believe that because I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm not going to let these short-term setbacks short circuit my focus on what can be and what I desire and what I want to see happen. It's so important. And I think, like I said, it's been something that I've been working on and continue to work on. And it's not something that I do automatically. I don't think it's something any of us or very many of us do automatically. We have a tendency to focus on the negative, and that's just because we're human, and that's okay. Again, I'm not going to focus on the short-term setback of being a human. I'm going to let my long-term goals and my help shape my positive attitude, because then I'm more effective at the short-term things that I have to do as I move throughout my day. So once your mindset has been established, we're going to move on to number two here. And the next thing really is consistency. When we're talking about Etsy, Etsy loves consistency. And it seems, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, they want to promote the most active sellers because those active sellers are going to be the best to respond to their customers. They're going to be the best in creating new products and new offerings for their customers on Etsy. So it makes sense that they would favor people that are consistent. And this really does go back to planning out your tasks, like we talked about last week, having some type of a plan in place that you know you can move forward with over time. Um, Having a clear plan for what you do daily, weekly, and monthly will really help you maintain that consistency that Etsy loves. So, for example, a daily task would be, your customer service emails. Someone emails you, you respond in a timely fashion. It could be your fulfillment. Just making sure that everything's going through smoothly to your fulfillment provider. Maybe you have to log in and create the orders individually. Those are some of your daily tasks. Then weekly tasks would be something like, okay, this every week I'm going to create X number of new products and list them on Etsy. So it could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 20, whatever you're comfortable with, but you have that weekly goal that every single week that's going to be something that I accomplish. I'm going to get this number of new products out there. It could all your weekly one of weekly tasks could be repurposing existing products for different niches. So you have a popular mug that's selling to school administrators, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to use the same exact product, but I'm going to change the target of my title and maybe even some of my copy. I'm going to focus on teachers because it's the same, it's really close, but maybe a teacher wouldn't see a school administrator product. But if I target it towards a teacher, maybe that'll work. So repurposing those existing products for different niches. And then of course, updating your product descriptions based on trending SEO phrases. Just be careful with copyright, and trademarks and things like that. Don't insert trending things that are trademarked or copywritten. And you can go to uspto.gov. And you can search through their TESS tests database to see different copyrights and trademarks. And then, of course, there's other tools out there that'll help you with that as well. But that's usually what I do when I'm not sure and I want to make sure I'm staying clear. I'll just go to uspto.gov and search their database. And then monthly tasks could be to review your sales data. You look at all the things that sold, and you decide, okay, I'm going to this sold and I'm going to repurpose this towards another market because it sold. And so, it's making plans for that. It's planning out your designs, and what you're going to list in what niches you're going to list for that next following month and your weekly task. It's planning, your monthly thing, your monthly goals are you're going to set aside time to plan. And you can use our annual design calendar to kind of give you an idea of what you should be focusing on when it comes to like dates and holidays and seasons and things like that. And you can get your free annual design calendar by signing up to our weekly newsletter at printondemandcast.com. You'll get a PDF. It's just one sheet, and it's just got everything, all the different events and seasons and things like that in one column. Next column has when you should be researching for that particular season or event, when you should have that listed by, and then when the actual event happens. So you can kind of back your way into knowing what you should be doing every single month when it comes to planning out your designs and your listing niches for the following month. And then thirdly, on your monthly task list, you can plan a collaboration with another seller, with an influencer. You can plan a specific sale based around a holiday or just because you want to do a sale, or maybe even a contest. If you have an email list, you can present, a contest, or you can send out a discount code to all those people. There's a lot of different things that you can plan, but basically you're using your monthly task list to plan. And all of this will help you stay consistent. The plan is your friend. And if you can create a good plan, you can be consistent. And Etsy loves consistency, like I've said. Um, all right. So enough on consistency. The next one is a little more ethereal, if you want, but and it kind of goes back to mindset a little bit. But The third one is don't overanalyze. We can so get caught up in analysis paralysis when we overthink something. And what it causes us to do is to not make a decision. And the goal with listing on Etsy, being consistent, creating, a better sales month, if you will, is to have goals, have the plan, and then implement the plan. And so when we overthink, when we overanalyze, that can short circuit our ability to make a good decision. I know I said planning is key, but there has to be action for the planning to be worth anything. So if you make this plan and you spend all this time on, okay, what else am I going to do? And you don't leave your any time to actually take action on the plan, well, you overthought that plan. And so um, sometimes less is more, so don't fret, don't get worried about poor product choices that aren't selling. Simply just make up your mind. You're just going to delete them or repurpose them and put a different spin on it and then just move on. Don't worry about, oh well, I chose that one and that means that I probably shouldn't choose this one, but man, I really like that one design and I think it should go on this product. And you see how you're just not making any decisions, you're just thinking about things. So make quick decisions and just move on. Your daily, your weekly, and your monthly tasks are just that. They're tasks. They're tasks to complete. So create the plan and implement it. Don't second guess it. That's so easy to do when you're in the middle of the month and you have this monthly plan and you had planned to, make a certain niche of products in a certain niche. And you're like, oh, I don't know if that's a good niche to go in. Maybe I should stop. Just go ahead and implement your plan because you can course correct next month when you get the data in and you can create a new plan for the following month. Don't overanalyze it. Don't put yourself in that situation. Make good decisions, make the plan and then stick to the plan. And if you're consistent and you're planning every single month, you will eventually come to a place where you can spend time thinking about what worked and what didn't work and you can put it into your new plan to implement next month. And this moves nicely into our next point, number 4. Move past perfectionism. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You know who you are. Um, one thing that you can do to move past perfectionism is specifically like in listings and even in customer service, you can identify what's not needed. Okay. And this is hard for a perfectionist. It really is. And I raise my hand. There's a lot of times that perfectionism has gotten in the way of me just making decisions. It's kind of that analysis paralysis thing. Specifically your listings, what you want to do is you want to focus on the features of this. I'm sorry, you want to focus on the benefits of what you're listing because benefits trump features. So you want to focus on how the customer will benefit from your product in your descriptions. And you don't need to worry about not having every single line of the manufacturer's features in your listing because it doesn't matter. And so you're so focused on making this perfect, listing that you're just throwing in a bunch of features that the buyer really doesn't necessarily care about. They want to know how it benefits their lives. And if you keep that in your mind, it'll help you write better product descriptions because you'll focus on those benefits for your customer. But it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Same with customer service. There's no need to write individual responses for all the common questions you get. Where's my order? Or this mug broke, or all of those things. I want to return this. Um, Write out templates for those simple things. Um, and so you can just copy and paste an answer, boom, and you get back to your tasks that are the things that will actually move your business forward. Now, sometimes you do have to write out specific things because they ask questions that maybe you haven't templatized yet. However, when you write that out, save that and keep that for if somebody else asks that same question, you'll at least have, a paragraph that you can copy and paste. And then maybe you just have to edit a few things in it. It'll help you um, uh, it'll help you speed up and get back to your tasks. You don't have to be a perfectionist and write out an individual message to every single response you get. It just doesn't make sense. So use templated responses to battle that perfectionism desire in you. Many times less is more. Like I said, it leads to less anxiety for your customer when they're checking out because they don't have so many options. They don't have so many features. They don't have so many things, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so many options, so many choices. I'm clicking off. I'm going to another product. I'm going to do a new search." Um, Let your customers share with you what they want. Don't overload them with extras because you want your listing to be perfect. Just allow it to be good enough. Get it out there. And then when you're analyzing the sales data, when you're going through your SEO and things like that during your monthly tasks, that's when you can make a plan to correct those things. Don't allow your desire to be perfect to get in the way of good enough, particularly when you're throwing things out there, you're testing products, you're seeing you're going to get the sales data back. So just go ahead and trust your process and allow yourself to not have to be perfect. All right, next one. And this one's huge. And probably could have started with this one, but and this is a no-brainer too. Your design quality matters. Oh my goodness. How many times have I been on Etsy or Amazon and seen or merch or wherever and seen just terrible, terrible designs? Well, they might get some sales, but I'm pretty sure they're not gonna get as many sales as a very similar niche design that's just way better. It has, more graphics. It has, sometimes less is more. Sometimes simple text on a shirt. I mean, you've all seen it at the mall or wherever. You probably have something hanging up in your closet right now that just has a simple text saying, on a T-shirt or something like that. So that can sell, but what font did you choose? Is it Arial? Oh my goodness, please don't put Arial on my t-shirt. At least give me something, but your design quality matters. You can have the best looking Etsy shop, but if your designs aren't great, your sales will suffer. And we've talked a ton about different options for creating great designs. You can just go to the resources tab on printondemandcast.com and you can see there's companies like Creative Fabrica, Kittle and Vexels have both been on our show in the past. They have incredible resources for helping you create designs, editable templates that you can make and share and change and tweak to where you can get really, really nice designs. And for that matter, AI is now you're being able to create really great things with AI. Sometimes those takes a little longer because you've got to massage it and you got to delete the background, and sometimes it can be hard to do that. And if you don't have the right tools, if for instance, if you're just using Canva, sometimes it's not as good at removing all of the background. And but anyway, my point is that there's plenty of resources out there. There's no excuse to have a bad design. And then the next thing would be spend time examining other successful listings. So um, on that same resource page, you can see tools like eRank or Sales Samurai that specifically focus on Etsy, and you can find popular designs. You can see how much they're selling or how often they're selling, and you can examine those. I mean, actually take out a pencil and paper and take notes on different designs and why you think they're doing well. Or better yet, probably in this day and age, make a spreadsheet, put the link on there, and then, have a couple of columns on why you think they're doing well. It might be more than just one thing. It might be more than just the design. It could be their mock-ups, their quality of mock-ups. It could be their pricing strategy. Maybe it's really low priced because they're using it as a loss leader. Or it might be something that you can't really identify with those tools because they're just really great at customer service and they're constantly, chatting up people. It could be that they've built a strong email list and they have a lot of return customers that are coming to their site. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can learn from examining other successful listings. And I can't say design quality matters without this next one. Please, please, please get some feedback on your designs. Ask some other people what they think of your designs. Ask people that'll tell you the truth too. Don't just ask your mom. Okay. Um, and this one is tough, and I get it because we love our art. We love anything that we create, um, because it's from us. However, if we're not careful, we can begin to attach our identity to our creations. And that's when it can be really hard to hear constructive criticism or feedback because we have tied who we are, who we actually are to to the thing that we created. Well, you are not your art. You are not your creation. And you have to have that separation from your creation. And so you won't get, triggered or upset when somebody says, "Hey, I like the concept. I don't like the font that much. I don't think like right here it doesn't match or or whatever." Um, you need to be okay with getting that feedback. And so please, please, please get feedback on your designs. If you're I hesitate to offer this, but if you'd like some feedback on your designs, I'll obviously do it. I won't share it with anybody, but if you want, you can send an email to info@printondemandcast.com. If you want more feedback than that, you can join our Facebook group, and if you're bold enough, you can throw something in there. And I'm sure there's um, plenty of opinions about different people's art that'll come out in the Facebook group. But even if you don't utilize either of those 2 ways of getting feedback, ask somebody that you trust that'll tell you the truth, because you never know. It could be your designs are what's holding you back from making sales and growing your shop on Etsy. All right, so last one, finally, this isn't really a tip as much as it is an encouragement, but um, or just a truth bomb, really. Know that building your print on demand business will take time. Print on demand is not a get rich quick scheme. And I think most of you know that, but there's no such thing as an overnight success. This plan on this taking a long time. Plan on this taking, you know, months, even years. You might have some success in months, but for it to become something that can replace income, that can your family can actually, uh, count on for a monthly income and replace a job or something like that, that's going to take some time. And there is no such thing as an overnight success. It just doesn't happen, you know. The cool thing is that if you can maintain a positive mindset, you can turn some of those frustrations and some of that lack of patience, and I'm right there with you, um, into opportunities to learn. Because as you continue along your print on demand career, depending, no matter where you are at it, if you just started, if you are 6 months in, if you're 5 years in, you will continue to learn things along the way that are going to stay with you for the rest of your print on demand career. In other words, you are going to get better at this. I promise. You're going to learn tricks. You're going to learn how to use templates better. You're going to, be able to do things in less time. You're going to realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And so I'm not going to do that again. And you won't do it again. And so you continue to grow. We always talk about this on the print on demand cast, failing, being a failure is different than just failing, you know? Like if you fail, you can get back up and you can realize, well, I messed that up. I'm not going to do that anymore. Failing actually makes you better because you learn from it. And this is really, it's a challenge in the moment for sure to fail because it messes with your mindset, right? You're focusing on that, um, that failure or that mistake that you made, and you woulda shoulda coulda, all of that stuff that just heaps a bunch of garbage on you that kind of keeps you trapped, really. But if you can see it as an opportunity, if you can shift your mindset to see it as something that's going to actually benefit you in the long run, you'll quickly get out of that muck in the mire of the woulda, shoulda, coulda, and you can move forward knowing that you won't make that same mistake again, and you're going to get better. You're going to see results from the things you change because of these times that you failed from these mistakes. It goes back to mindset that we talked about, and at the beginning, and that's why I think it's so important. Um, yeah, so those are just a few things or tips, I guess, that can help you grow your Etsy store. Again, it's not an overnight thing. I didn't just tell you the key that's going to get you $20,000 in sales this month. Um, it might, I don't know, but let's just recap really quick. So the first one was mindset. And I think we've talked a lot about that. The next thing is consistency. Make a plan weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, stick to the plan, be consistent with your Etsy store. Don't overanalyze your choices, and then move past perfectionism. Allow your tasks to be the tasks that allow you to come back later and analyze and tweak and make better. Allow your plan to do that, not your perfectionism, not your analytical mind that's in the middle of the month says, well, I'm not sure if that was the best choice. Maybe I should do something else. No, just allow your plan to be your plan and then wait until the next scheduled time to tweak that plan for next month. Um, and then, of course, design quality matters. We talked a lot about that. Plenty of resources all over the web to create great designs. And then finally, know that this print on demand game is not a get rich quick scheme. It's going to take time. Going back to mindset, focus on your process and allow that process to teach you as you make mistakes and you fall down, and allow it to teach you, but just continue to get up and keep moving forward. And over time, you'll see that success slowly creep in. If you have good designs, if you're not second guessing yourself all the time, if you're focusing on maintaining a positive outlook and a positive mindset, you will see your sales increase on Etsy and any other channel that you're interested in selling on. So I'm going to mute and I'm going to cough because yeah, that's what I had to do there. And okay, so let's see. Let's scroll through the side here and see all the cool things that Josiah gets to do at the end of the show. So I'm going to go into his diatribe of all the stuff now. So first of all, thank you so much for listening to the Print on Demand cast. If you're not in our Facebook group, get in our Facebook group, man. Just go to printondemandcast.com/Facebook. We're also on Instagram, and we're trying to do a better job at throwing these out on YouTube, so you can, watch us talk on YouTube. And sometimes we'll throw a little, some video or some, different things on there that you can see on YouTube. But that's Print on Demand cast/YouTube. You can get your podcast pretty much anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. There's a whole list of other ones that we're on. If you are on the Apple Podcast app, do us a favor, review the show. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you give us 5 stars. But if you type out your review, we'll shout you out. We got one a week or two ago, and I haven't shouted it out, but we're going to do that at some point. But yeah, we'd love to shout you out on the show, and share our appreciation for the 5-star review. And then if you're not into social media, you can email us at info@printondemandcast.com, and share some of your designs if you want some honest feedback, or share your Etsy site, or just your store link, and I can go there, or Josiah can go there, and we can give you some feedback. Also, if you are interested in that annual design calendar, you can sign up to our weekly newsletter at printondemandcast.com, and that'll automatically come to you. It's totally free. It's just something that can potentially help you in your planning stages as you're planning out your daily, your weekly, and your monthly tasks. I think that's about it. 39 minutes. Hey, that's not bad. I'm impressed with myself. Uh, Anyway, for Josiah, who's not here, I'm Travis, and thanks for watching, and see ya.
Hey, babe. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand cast. We hope you enjoyed the Totally Tubular Show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Want to be wicked nice? Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next time, for sure.